Very warm welcome to everyone present here. Today we will be diving a bit more deeper into the service sector of the hotel management industry. Today we'll be learning about something that has been very closely associated with service industry. That is something related to alcohol. Today we will be learning a bit more about cocktails and different types of mixed drinks that all there are out there in the market. What all are we going to learn about cocktails today? Today, in this class, we will be learning about number one, the definition of cocktails, what cocktails actually are, how can they be defined. Number two is the history of cocktails, how cocktails originated, how they came into being, how they were popularized, and how cocktail market has reached the stage it has reached today, and what is the journey, what has the journey been throughout for the cocktails. The third thing we'll be learning is the classification of cocktails. There are numerous cocktails out there in the market. There are so many types of cocktails that they need to be classified into some different types of categories so that it is much easier. They are much easier to learn and understand. So we'll be learning about these different classifications, how cocktails can be classified into different categories. The fourth thing we'll be learning is a very important one. It is the different components of a cocktail, the different parts of a cocktail. What all different parts when come together makes a cocktail. We'll be learning about that. The next thing we'll be learn about is the different preparation method of the cocktail. There are various ways in which cocktails are prepared. We'll be learning more about that. And at the end, we'll be discussing some of the important notes that need to be taken care of while in the cocktail industry or while in the preparation of cocktails. So let's start off with the very first thing we'll be learning is the definition of cocktails. So what is cocktail? A cocktail is basically an alcoholic drink. It is a mixed drink, to put it very plainly. It is a mixed drink in which one alcoholic beverage is mixed to another beverage. This other beverage may be alcoholic or non-alcoholic in nature depending on the recipe of a particular cocktail. Many kind of non-alcoholic spirits are also used, such as fruit juice, flavored syrup, cream. Like I said, depending on the different recipes of the cocktail and the way that they need to be prepared. So, to put it very plainly, cocktail is an alcoholic mixed drink. Most commonly, cocktails are either a combination of spirit or one or more spirits mixed together with other ingredients such as fruit juice, flavored syrup, or cream. The next thing we will be learning is the history of cocktail. How did cocktail originate? Well, the origin of cocktail is a very debatable topic because countries such as England, Mexico, America, and France, they all claim to have originated cocktails, and they all have different stories to back up their claims, but no one knows their authenticity. So it is a very debatable topic. However, it was in the USA, in the United States of America, that the cocktails first gained in popularity. At a stage it became so popular that cocktails were not only a bar drink, it also became a pre-mixed stimulant mixture drink, to take out on sporting events or some occasions or something. It became very common and people adjusted more and more into the cocktail lifestyle. So the credit of popularizing cocktail can be given to the USA. Now we will be learning a bit more about how different categories, the different cocktails can be classified into. Well, it is estimated that there are over more than 10,000 mixed drinks out there in the market and in use. This is so because every other day a new cocktail recipe is being invented, a new cocktail is being prepared, and if it is good enough, then it is sold in the market. So there are more than 10,000 mixed drinks and cocktails in use. And basically, all these mixed drinks or these iced drinks can be roughly divided into four different groups. The very first one is called the aperitif. The aperitif, the function of these kind of cocktails is to stimulate the appetite. It is very appealing to the eye, and it is generally had before you have your meal, so that it makes you feel more hungry. It grows your appetite, and these kind of drinks are usually made from wines mixed with spirits, broadly speaking. The second category of cocktails is known as cocktail itself. This is the largest group of all, and it consists of all types of different short drinks, mixed drinks. They definitely should contain a alcoholic spirit base, coloring and flavoring agent, or any other modifying agent. We'll be learning a bit more about those things later down in this chapter. The third category that cocktails can be classified into is called long drinks. These, as the name suggests, these drinks are big drinks, long drinks, and they are served in big glasses or tall glasses such as highballs or Collins glass. And the fourth type of cocktail are known as stimulants. So what happens, suppose you somebody has had a good night of drinking, and the next day he is feeling hungover because of all the alcohol he has consumed. At times like these, instead of going to a doctor, this guy can directly go to a bar, and the bartender will prescribe a good cocktail or a mixed drink for him. These are also described as pick-me-ups, and they are very good, and they are very good in case of curing hangovers. So now let's learn about the different components of cocktails. By components, what I mean is the different parts that make a cocktail a cocktail. Okay, the very first and the very important part of a cocktail is called the base. So what actually is a base? You know, uh, since like I told you, all cocktails are mixed drinks, and they are made of one or more than one alcoholic beverages, right? So the major alcoholic beverage that is being used in the preparation of this any particular cocktail is known as base. Now it is to be kept in mind that the preparation of cocktail always revolves around spirits. What I mean to say by this is, as per the definition, if we go by the definition, there are more than one. There can be more than one spirits added in a cocktail. One particular cocktail may have whiskey and vodka both added in it. In cases like these, which one should be considered the base of the cocktail? In cases like these, the alcoholic beverage which has a larger quantity is considered the base of the cocktail. For example, a cocktail has, like I said, both whiskey and vodka. Whiskey is around 30 ml and vodka is 45 ml. So it will be counted as the vodka as a vodka based cocktail. Uh, Now, since this is clear, now sometimes it also happens, one particular cocktail has two different spirits, and they both are in the same quantity. Let's take the same example that we were going through, whiskey and vodka. But instead now of 30 ml whiskey and 45 ml vodka, let's say 30 ml of both, 30 ml of whiskey and 30 ml of vodka. There are cocktails in which two spirits go in equal quantity. So how do we how can we say which is the base in this? In situations like these, where two alcoholic beverages are there in equal quantities, the spirit with a higher alcoholic volume is considered as the base. So for example, the same example we'll go through. The vodka has suppose 42% of alcohol by volume, and whiskey has 46, so it will be considered as a whiskey based cocktail. So this is the very first component, or the very first part of a cocktail. It is called the base. The second component of the cocktail is known as the modifier. Now, modifier, these are complementary ingredients that are added in the cocktail to modify or enhance the flavor and taste. Certain kind of spirits, aromatized wines, fruit juices, wines, beers, soda, cream, liquids, water, etc. can be used as modifier. The basic purpose of a modifier is to lighten up the taste of the base, and change the taste of the base a bit. Sometimes it is also used to dilute the base a bit. All right. So this is the second component of a cocktail is the modifier. The third component of cocktail are known as the flavoring, coloring, or sweetening ingredients or agents. You know, what happens is sometimes a drink, may have very small quantities. By small quantities, it could be even a few drops. For example, a few drops of bitters, a few drops of liquids, could be added in the cocktail. One type or one or more than one type of these agents could be added in a cocktail to change the flavor of the cocktail or change the taste of the cocktail, make it very distinguishable from other different drinks. Okay, but it is to be kept in mind that these kind of sweetening agents are an optional and only go in some of the cocktails and do not go in some of the cocktails depending on the recipe of the cocktails. Okay, so the third component of cocktail is the flavoring, coloring, and sweetening ingredient. The fourth component of the cocktail are known as garnish. Okay, now many drinks have garnish. Garnish are part of the product. They um, serve uh, you know uh, they serve the motive of making the drink look more eye appealing. Okay, but so garnish. But garnish again is something that is optional. There are many drinks that do not have a standard garnish. There are many drinks that have a standard garnish. Okay, those who have a standard garnish, well and good, garnish is added to them, and then it is served. But those drinks which do not have a standard garnish, it is advisable that they should be served without a garnish instead of trying out different garnishes that could result in a ruined cocktail, right? So garnish is optional, and the ones which do not have a standard garnish, uh, you know garnish putting on garnish on them is avoided. Now, since we have already learned about the different parts of cocktails and what makes a cocktail, now we'll be learning a bit more about the different methods of making a cocktail. The very first method of making a cocktail is called the building method. The building method is very simple. You take a glass. If the preparation of cocktail or the recipe of cocktail contains ice, then the ice is the first thing to go in that glass, and then whatever the recipe, the ingredients will be poured in the glass, and at the end the alcoholic beverage will be added, and that's it. The cocktail has been prepared, it's been made, and it's time for it to be served. So this is called the building method. Just put everything on top of one another, and at the end put in alcoholic beverage. So this is called the building method. The second kind of method of preparation of cocktail is known as the stirring method. This refers to mixing of all the ingredients with ice. They generally, the bartender will generally use a bar spoon or a stirrer, and he'll dip the stirrer or the bar spoon in the glass and give a quick twist to the drink, so that the quick twist is because he wants to avoid maximum dilution. It is best if the drink is diluted to a minimum. The taste of the drink is more classy that way. So the second method of preparing a cocktail is the stirring method. The third preparation method of preparing cocktail is the shaking method, and it is one of the most famous methods that are used and quite popular. Even in TVs and movies or in videos, you might have seen, in shaking method, the bartender will take a cocktail shaker. He'll have a cocktail shaker. He'll pour in ice. He'll pour in every every ingredient that is needed. He'll pour in the alcoholic spirit as well, the base as well, and then he'll shut the cocktail shaker and give it a shake. Okay, so hence the name, the shaking method, because the procedure of shaking is being used. It is to be noted that there are no standard routine or standard way of shaking a cocktail shaker. Every bartender uses their own preferred way, or whichever they think it looks more eye appealing. The main motive is to shake everything nice and good so that everything mixes up, and then they open up the cocktail shaker and they'll use a strainer and strain everything in the glass, and it is ready to be served. So this kind of method is known as the shaking method. The next type of method for preparation of cocktail is called the blending method. Now, blending method is very similar to the shaking method, but instead of a shaker, every ingredient is put inside a blender, and it is blended. Everything is blended, and then it is strained on a glass in which it is to be served. So it is also suitable for making large quantity of mixed drinks, and there are some recipes in which only blending method can be used. Now, the last type of method for preparation of cocktail is called the layering method. Now, as you can see in the pictures, there are different type of drinks added to it, and they all are there in different layers. They are not mixing together. How does this happen? This happens due to the different density of the drinks that has been added. Let's count an example, or very common example that we all have an idea about. We all know that water and oil do not mix. What is the reason behind that? The reason is because they both have different densities, and because of the different densities, they cannot mix with one another. Similarly, in these types of layered cocktails, the drinks of different densities are used, and it is poured very slowly with the help of a bar spoon, and once it is poured, it becomes a layer on top of one another, and it is served the very way, like that. It is to be kept in mind that the glass should not be moved a lot, and it should be served without moving the glass too much, because otherwise it will disturb the layering inside which has been prepared for the cocktail. So with this we come to an end of different methods of preparing cocktail. Now we'll go through some important points that need to be kept in mind while preparation of cocktails and mixed drinks. Some important points that especially a bartender needs to keep in his mind, right? The very first thing is to make sure that there is an ample supply of ice, because reuse of ice is strictly prohibited, right, since it retains the flavor of the previous drinks that it has been used with, and it will in some way affect the taste of the new drink that you will reuse the ice for. So reuse of ice is strictly prohibited, uh, hence there should be an ample supply of ice. All right. The second thing to be kept in mind is never touch the ice with your hand. Very unhygienic. Always use scoops or tongs. All right. The third thing to be kept in mind is serve cocktails in chilled glasses. Glasses should be chilled beforehand before service, and the cocktail should be poured in a chilled glass and served in the chilled glass. Right. To avoid spillage, never fill the glass to the brim. If you fill the glass till the brim of the glass, then it will definitely fall down. You always leave a bit of gap in the glass, so that while serving or while taking it to the customer, even if it moves a bit, it will not spill. Right? Never overfill the cocktail shaker. Remember that when you're putting in ingredients in the cocktail shaker, you need enough space in there so that you can give give the ingredients inside a good shake. So if you properly fully fill up the cocktail shaker, there will be no space in there, and you will not be able to shake as much as you want to for the cocktail preparation of cocktail as per its recipe. All right. The next important point is, once a cocktail is prepared, never leave it for a long time. As soon as it is prepared, it is advisable that you serve the cocktail. Okay, do not leave the cocktail unattended like that. Otherwise, the whatever ingredients that you have mixed in there will start to get separated. Right. While shaking, use short and snappy actions. Okay, it should be short, it should be snappy, it should have enough power so that the ingredients inside getting good jerk inside, and able to mix properly. There are many cocktails that also are prepared with the help of eggs. In some cocktails, egg whites are there. So it is advisable to the bartender to check the freshness of the egg before adding it to the all the other ingredients. So usually what happens, they keep a container nearby, and when they break the egg, they will pour the container, pour the break the contents into the side container. If it looks fresh, then they will mix it in the container in which all the other ingredients are there. Always place the ice first in the mixing glass. Even in the building method, the ice goes first. Never pour ice after everything is poured. Pour ice first, so that once you pour in other drinks, alcoholic drinks or non-alcoholic drinks, it will flow through the ice and also retain a bit of the ice's temperature, become a bit cool. To The next one is to extract more juice from citrus fruits. Soak them in hot water for some time before you squeeze juice out of them. And the last point to be kept in mind is always place the ice first in the mixing glass, followed by non-alcoholic beverages, and then alcoholic beverages. With that, we are done with today's chapter. So I hope you all learned something from today's chapter. With this, I suggest you guys to probably go make your own cocktail and have a good drink. Cheers.